It was supposed to be just another normal day at the office. Melissa Ben-Ishay had no idea that her life was about to change forever. She went to work like she always did, sat at her desk, and tried her best to get through the day. But by the time she walked out of the office, she wasn't just carrying her purse, she was also carrying a box of her things. She had been fired. In that moment, it felt like the ground had been pulled out from under her. She had no backup plan, no savings to fall back on, and no idea what her future would look like. What would you do if you were in her shoes? Melissa had no way of knowing it, but the worst day of her life was about to become the start of something incredible. She didn't realize it yet, but losing her job was the very thing that would push her to create one of the most popular dessert brands in America, baked by Melissa. What happened next wasn't just luck, it was a combination of creativity, hard work, and a willingness to take risks when the future seemed uncertain. Melissa's story isn't just about cupcakes, it's about learning how to turn a setback into success. And her success was beyond anything she ever imagined for herself. Melissa was only 24 years old when she got fired from her advertising job in New York City. She wasn't in love with the job, but she didn't see it coming. One minute, she was trying to keep up with the demands of corporate life, and the next, she was sitting in a meeting with her boss and HR. They told her it wasn't working out. Melissa left the office feeling embarrassed and scared. It's not like she had a safety net to fall back on. She was living in one of the most expensive cities in the world with rent to pay and bills piling up. For anyone, that moment would feel like the end of the road. But here's the first lesson. Sometimes losing what's not working is the only way to make room for something better. In the moment, Melissa didn't see it that way. She felt lost, like most of us would. But instead of sitting in her apartment and spiraling into panic, she went to see someone she trusted, her brother. Her brother didn't react the way she expected. He didn't pity her or tell her to polish her resume and start job hunting. Instead, he said something that changed the way she thought about her future. "Go home," he said. "Bake your cupcakes, and we'll figure out how to turn it into a business." At first, Melissa wasn't convinced. Sure, she loved baking. It was something she did for fun, something that brought her joy. But could it really become a business? That night, she faced a choice: stay stuck in her fear or take a small step towards something new. What would you do in this position? Let me know in the comments and hit the like and subscribe buttons before we get into how Melissa's one decision changed her life forever. Melissa didn't waste time. She went straight to her tiny New York apartment and started baking. Her kitchen wasn't anything fancy, just a regular apartment setup with barely enough counter space. But that didn't stop her. She baked 250 cupcakes that night. They weren't just any cupcakes, they were tie-dye cupcakes, colorful and fun, the kind of thing that made people smile. But here's where the real lesson comes in. Creativity isn't enough. You need action. Melissa didn't just bake those cupcakes for herself, she had a plan, even if it was a rough one. She sent the cupcakes to Allison Broad PR, a public relations firm run by a woman she admired. Now think about that. She didn't send her cupcakes to random people. She chose someone who had the connections to help her. That's a business lesson right there. You don't need to know everything when you're starting out, but you need to know who can help you get to the next step. The risk paid off. Allison loved the cupcakes and introduced Melissa to her caterer, who gave her a piece of advice that would change everything: make them bite-sized. At first, it seemed like a small detail, but bite-sized cupcakes weren't just cute, they were different. They stood out in a crowded market. People could try multiple flavors without feeling guilty. This wasn't just a dessert anymore, it was an experience. Melissa started thinking, what if this could really work? The next few weeks were a whirlwind. Melissa started getting small catering gigs, where her bite-sized cupcakes quickly became a hit. But catering alone wasn't enough to build a business. She needed something bigger. That's when she got the idea to open her first location. But she didn't have the money to rent a full bakery or storefront. Instead, she set up a tiny pickup window in SoHo, attached to an existing cafe. It was a bold move. A pickup window isn't the kind of thing that screams success. It's small, it's limited, and it doesn't have the same appeal as a full bakery. But Melissa understood something important. You don't have to start big. You just have to start. The pickup window was an instant hit. Customers loved the convenience, and word spread quickly. Suddenly, Melissa wasn't just a baker, she was a business owner. But running a business isn't just about making something people like. It's about learning how to manage the details, from hiring the right team to figuring out how to market your product. Melissa was learning on the job, making mistakes, and figuring things out as she went. And here's another lesson. Starting small doesn't mean thinking small. Every day, Melissa asked herself, what can I do to make this better? And asking this question is what led Melissa to success beyond anything she could imagine. As demand grew, Melissa knew she couldn't keep doing everything herself. She started hiring people to help with baking, marketing, and logistics. She opened more locations and launched an e-commerce site so people could order her cupcakes from anywhere in the country. Shipping cupcakes might sound simple, but it's not. They had to figure out how to keep the cupcakes fresh, how to package them so they wouldn't get damaged, and how to make the process efficient. It took trial and error, but they got it right. By this point, Baked by Melissa wasn't just a local brand anymore. It was becoming a national sensation. But here's the thing about growth. It comes with challenges. Melissa had to make tough decisions, like which flavors to keep and which ones to retire. She had to invest in marketing and figure out how to stand out in an industry that was becoming more competitive every day. And yet, through all of it, she stayed focused on what mattered most, making people happy. Every cupcake was designed to bring joy, and that became the heart of her brand. Today, Baked by Melissa is a multi-million-dollar business with 14 retail locations and a booming online store. They ship over 10 million cupcakes a year to all 50 states. Melissa's also got millions of followers on social media now, where you can follow her journey with food. But what's even more impressive is the way Melissa stayed true to her roots. She never forgot why she started. For her, it wasn't just about making money. It was about creating something that made people smile. Her story is proof that the worst moments in life can sometimes lead to the best outcomes. If she hadn't been fired, she might never have taken the leap to start her own business. And that's the biggest lesson of all: setbacks aren't the end. They're just the beginning of something new. So, the next time life throws you a curveball, remember Melissa's story. You never know, your next big opportunity might be hiding behind what feels like your worst moment. And who knows, it might just involve cupcakes. Have you ever faced a setback that ended up becoming an opportunity? What advice would you give to anyone facing business challenges? Let me know in the comments. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this.